This is the Mettleset.
So today's guest is Safiya Al Sayegh. And if you don't know that name just yet, where have you been hiding? And remember it, because this Emirati cyclist is the heroine we need.
Safiya is the first Emirati woman to join a WorldTour Pro Team, UAE Team ADQ. She is the only Arab woman on the World Tour, and she's a 3-time national UAE champion. And this is just the start. So welcome to the podcast, Safiya.
Thank you for having me here today, and I'm excited.
Yeah, we're
with you.
Excited to have you. So your 2023 cycling season has really gotten off to a flying start. You had 2 victories in less than a week apart this month. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about those races and how it makes you feel in terms of looking ahead this year.
Well, national championships always are like one of the big goals of the season, because I have to secure, that jersey with the UAE flag, the special one, because like if the team get to race in like our colored, pretty colored jerseys, then I get to have my own UAE champion jersey. So I always like to fight for that because, it's a special thing.
What a proud moment.
Yeah, like more than just winning the title, it's also winning to wear that jersey for another season, which I always am motivated, and it's like a big motive for me. And the races were great. I won the individual time trial by 3.5 minutes. So it was I found it motivating to see, and like the performance I put out, even though it was not one of the best of the days, really gave me motivation for the season, that I'm on a good start. I had a good start before the national championships in January in Spain with the team on a training camp, and also in the end of December we also had a training camp in Italy to get ready for the season with all the equipment and all the different stuff that we have this season. Always very exciting, getting all the new helmets and glasses and kits, because sometimes there's different sponsors every season, different kit, different design. So it's quite exciting. And it was a good start off to the season, preparing really well. We did good training throughout the winter, so it led to good results.
Yeah. And speaking about training through the winter, you've also had a very phenomenal 2022.
Yeah.
You closed the season with 6 medals from the track Arab Championships, including 2 gold, 3 silver, and 1 bronze, right? And you secured your 3rd national championship last year as well. Those are great strides, right? So when did all of this happen? So when did you join the Team ADQ?
So I joined and became professional at the beginning of last year, 2022. I used to ride for the national team and for a local club. And I moved on actually just before joining to UAE Team ADQ. I got the chance to join the Dubai Police Pro Team. And it's a cycling team, under Dubai Police. With pro riders as well, from different national teams around the world, and quite a strong team here, a dominant team, as they have a big number against, more individual riders throughout the peloton here racing locally. It was quite hard to race with them, as they're like maybe 8 riders or 9 riders. But it was nice to race with them for a while. They're really nice girls. And I've been in Al Nasser, Abu Dhabi Cycling Club, and some other smaller teams throughout the years. I kicked off my cycling career in 2016. After I was doing the sport with my father as a hobby and to bond with him more. We bought 2 secondhand bikes and we started going around the neighborhood, and I was like, okay, I remembered how I recalled how much I like cycling ever since I've been young, and like getting over the stabilizers and finally riding like 2 wheels. And then I was an athlete since like 8 years old. I used to do swimming, athletics, gymnastics, and all other sports. Like I tried out quite a lot of a variety of sports, and I guess that helped me in, actually defining what sport I actually wanted to go to the next level with.
Yeah, I think, trying out all of those different sports and finding what it is you love. But I'm interested to hear more about your first bike and when it actually started, because I know your father played a big role in fostering this love of cycling. Like, how old were you when you got your first bike?
So back in 2016, getting my first bike was like back to when I don't even know how old I was, like really young. I've always had a bike, and I used to have a Hello Kitty bike when I was young. I was like, this is the bike.
Fashion.
Yeah. But I didn't get a proper road bike until like I joined the national team, because the national team...
How old were you?
I was 14 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, 14. Back in the beginning of 2016, I was 14. When I started with my father, we were going around the neighborhood just leisurely, to enjoy it and, to have something to spare our mind after the end of the day. But it started to grow on me. I heard of a race. I was like, really? There's like competitive cycling? And not just in Dubai, I didn't even know there was competitive cycling in the world, Out of all of the sports I did, I never thought of like racing with a bike.
Yeah.
And then there was like this amateur race, but I never got to do it. But it excited me that, there is actually a competitive level. Later on, a couple of months later, I heard from my friend, or actually saw on her social media, the branding of the UAE Cycling Federation. And I was like, okay, are you in like a cycling team or something? And she's like, yeah, we're in the national team. I was like, oh, how did you get on? She said they were like recruiting new riders from like schools that they saw maybe had potential in cycling. And I was like, can I do this, please? To my father. And he wasn't that keen, because he was like, okay, this is all the competitions that I had been in were around school and in the school field. But this was something beyond school, obviously, and I was quite a good student at school. He really didn't want me to mess that up. He left school when he was younger for his football dream, and went on with football for 13 years, but then realized that he had to study, so he went back to studying even high school after the age of 30, which was a challenge. So he didn't even want me to even neglect my studies. Obviously, I wouldn't have left my studies. Studying is something important. That's why I'm still pursuing my degree. And hopefully after I finish it, I can actually pursue cycling full time. Definitely studying and getting a degree is a big goal of mine as well. And I would have never neglected my studies at the time.
Right?
And I actually proved to him that with cycling, after I joined, I was like, okay, I'll prove to you that I can combine both. And my grades went even higher.
Yeah,
so
I was going to say that
happy.
You mentioned in the Leaders in Sport when you were speaking on the panel there that your grades got better when you started cycling.
And your dad now accompanies you, because we saw a really nice Instagram post where you're like raising the trophy and he's there like beaming, right? So things have changed,
I'm
obviously,
really
since.
blessed. Yeah, he's always supported it, but he was just not really sure if it was the right thing to do. We went through, like, if I were to, it's hard to remember at the moment, because like things are good. He agrees to it. He actually pushes me when I feel down and like I'm distancing myself from the sport. But back in the days, we did arrive at points that he was like, okay, no more cycling after crashes or an unfortunate accident that happened with our friend, which she died, unfortunately. So lots of things have happened along the journey. There's been obstacles, but you overcome them and you see them as memories after a couple of years.
True.
You're like, oh, I got over that.
And he was a member of the UAE national football team, correct?
Yeah, he was back in the 90s. He actually got to the World Cup for juniors, I think, in Italy. So yeah, he got quite far with it.
Yeah, I guess you knew all of the commitment that it really required to play.
Yeah,
at that
definitely.
level.
I also mentioned in the leaders' speech that I had that he shortcutted. He gave me a shortcut to whatever others didn't have, or whatever others had to look for in other people, in coaches, in other stuff. He was, there to give it to me without me asking it.
So was he your first coach?
Yeah, I could say so, Like, I joined the national team. There was a coach there, but like at home, he was my coach, for sleep, for nutrition, for other stuff,
amazing.
as much as he knew.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't a cyclist, so it's quite different. But being an athlete, you know the basic things that you need.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. Like the discipline is the same, right,
Yes.
across the board.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to wrap my head around this. You were 14 and you were like, I want to be on the national team.
Yeah, I mean, it was motivating because there was like no other smaller teams at the time. So there were no cycling teams at the time for women. So this was the only team to actually get into the competitive side, and I was happy that I could actually compete from. As soon as I joined, we were preparing for the first golf championships for women. and it was a really nice experience. And I was on the on the main team from that first after like a month of cycling. So that was a big motive for me as well, to see myself like being able to like get better than people who had already joined a bit of a while before me. So yeah, that was definitely a boost to.
But remind us, what was your first race? Was it a school race that you did?
I wanted to do that school race, but like I said, I didn't get the chance to do it. And then I joined the national team after I contacted the coach, and she was actually surprised because like all the other girls were quite shorter than me on the national team. And then I was like, she was asking me on WhatsApp because she'd never seen me, and she was like, "Oh, how tall are you?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm 167 back in the day. Now I'm I think 170 back in the day." And all of the rest were like in their 150s, just at 160. And she was like, "Are you sure you're 167 or 156?" And yeah, she was surprised. Like, I am actually quite taller than quite a lot of others. So yeah, she was surprised that I was as tall as I am.
And why was that question asked?
I mean, she was trying to just to imagine, like she was asking about my weight and height. So just to, have an imagination of how I'm composed, I guess.
What do you remember about your first race though?
My first race, well, okay, we did have smaller races before that championship to prepare for it, but I remember getting dropped and, not doing so well with all the junior.
Been there, done that.
It was with all the junior young boys, and, they're crazy on the bike. They don't sit on the bike. They're just like attacking the whole time. And it's like, let me stay on your wheel.
That's what I pray for every time I'm in a group. Please let me stay on your wheel.
So from UAE National Team, when did you think, I want to be pro?
Well, like I said, I've been racing ever since I joined road cycling. As cycling with my father was on a city bike. So as soon as I got my road bike, I was already racing in a couple of weeks. But when I wanted to go pro, I mean, definitely as you ride for the national team and you go, I've been around the world with the national team as well. You see more pro riders, you see the dream of becoming a pro, what it takes, what it gives you. So yeah, I guess all along the years I've been wanting to actually reach to a place that nobody's reached here in the UAE, and I'm happy to be breaking boundaries and being a first in quite a lot.
Yeah. So after joining the UAE Team ADQ, you became the first female rider from the UAE to join the World Tour, and only the second UAE national, right? And you're the only woman. And is it true that you're the only Arab woman? Up until now, you were the first Arab woman to join the World Tour.
Yes.
Oh, that's an achievement in itself, right?
Yep.
With the honor, there's a sense of responsibility that comes with it. There may be a sense of pressure that comes with it. Did that drive you, or did that kind of intimidate you at the start? And how did you deal with all of that?
I wouldn't say intimidated me, but I would say like it pushed me to, you see the level in Europe. It's such a new sport here. So I really want to close that gap in between both our, region and the European and worldwide region, and the level there. I definitely want to shorten that. And this is the team's goal actually as well in me, is that they see that, I want to reach there. They believe in the potential I have, and we're trying to close that gap as much as we can. And the responsibility definitely is big, and the pressure, but I take that in a positive way to make me thrive even more. But definitely representing the UAE definitely is a responsibility, and our leadership always strives for top places. So have to be up to the expectations they have in me.
I mean, you're absolutely a role model here in the UAE for all women. I think just not Emirati women, but all girls and women that are living here. And we spoke a little bit before we started recording. Do you also feel, I guess, a sense of duty in kind of showing the world what, a little bit more about this part of the world and what, Emirati women
definitely, when I come when people come up to me like asking about how Dubai is or how the UAE is, I definitely want to show them what it actually is, because like lots of Europeans have misconceptions of like the Middle East in a whole. So yeah, I like to clarify that, you know, here in Dubai or here in the UAE, we're an open, tolerant country. We're striving for more and more, you know, to be one of the best countries in the world. So yeah, I always like to try and represent my country in the best way. Also as a Muslim, I'm Muslim, so I try to represent my my religion as best as I can, and yeah, always be the best of what I can be. Yeah.
So you know, this after you joined UAE Team ADQ, what was your first race? And just going back to what you said about, you know, representation and kind of like busting some of those misconceptions, I also want to know what was the strangest thing someone has ever told you, being from this part of the world, really?
Well, the strangest could go back to the talk we just talked about, like, oh, really? Like, it's actually open in the UAE. Like, you can wear what you want. You can do what you want. Obviously with limitations, but you can do what you want. Really? Is it like that? I mean, like, it's hard to think that people still don't know Dubai is this tolerant, or the UAE is this tolerant, and that you can pursue what there's so many opportunities. You can pursue what you like here. There's like, as there are lots of opportunities, there's lots of doors open for you to go for that passion of yours, or start up your business, or you know, open up whatever you're dreaming of opening up.
Yeah, I mentioned just before as well, like, I don't think I would have gone into cycling or become an ultra cyclist had I not lived here, just because of the opportunities and access and support.
And the safety element.
Safety.
Definitely.
Like, you know, just race calendar, the opportunities. You know,
there's so many.
Yeah, you were on the panel at Leaders in Sport with Dr. Amniat Al-Hajeri from the Fatma bint Mubarak Ladies Sports Academy. And it just struck me, you know, that we need people to know, like, just how many opportunities exist here for sport.
And like top class facilities where like there are very few countries in the world that actually boast such facilities.
Yeah, talking about teams and opportunities in cycling, like, I mean, it's been amazing to see the development and the progress, and, you know, the whole change of like having a few races or having not like hardly any, no teams, to the first WorldTour team, the first development team, also initiatives of like, you know, empowering women through ADQ or UAE Team ADQ or others. It's really, really great to see, you know, this big change. So lovely to see the number of women and even Emiratis, you know, they're also breaking the barriers of like, you know, actually proving that we're capable and we can do this. There's quite a lot of like interesting Emirati riders that I meet around cycling, and yeah, it's just so lovely to see this big change.
Yeah, I think a lot of young Emirati girls are going to see themselves or what is possible through your success.
Well, I hope to inspire. I never did it to inspire anybody, but I guess it happened along the journey of, you know, you do what you love, and then people matters. See and you know, maybe see that love that I have for cycling and are inspired by it. So I'm happy to be able to, you know, lead the way, and I hope to represent it in the best way possible.
So the first race, tell us a little bit about what you remember in the World Tour and what learnings you had from that.
So in the World Tour, I still haven't raced with a team in the World Tour level, but I have raced in, you know, obviously representing ADQ a couple of times. And my first race was last season in the National Championship, securing the second one, both for the ITT and the road race. And hopefully this summer I have, you know, a progression plan put for me in Italy and around Europe to start racing with the team, which is very exciting. And obviously expectations are there, so I need to be living up to them and working for them. I have been working hard, like I said, over the winter to get to the level I need to start racing. The camp showed that we're in a safe and good place. And that it's a good base to work on throughout the year. And yeah, I'm very happy with the form I have now, and I'm excited to be heading there in a month.
Now, we were going to ask this a little later, but I think it's a good point in time because when we're training here, it's quite flat in the UAE.
Yeah,
it is.
Yes.
So I'm assuming your training plan includes lots of climbing in Italy?
Yeah, in Italy, definitely. And even here in the UAE, my coach tries to keep me in shape for climbs sometimes. Like throughout the weekends, she'll try to prescribe like me going to the mountains. It's not always that possible because it's very far away from where I live.
It's Rak or it's Alen, isn't it?
Yeah, both those. Or Fujairah, Hatta.
Fujairah, Hatta,
I mean, the closest is 1 hour away. So that's 2 hours of your days in the car.
Yeah. And then you're on the bike.
And then there's preparation before and after you come. Like,
exactly.
I mean, dressing up afterwards. And then there's the rides, like, going there, I won't have less than a 2.5, 3
It's
hour
an entire
ride.
day gone, basically.
So it's either like up until noon or you come back like shattered.
Exhausted.
Like, okay, I can't do anything else today. It's the whole day booked for climbing. But yeah, it was amazing to spend time in Italy as well. Last year, I was there for around 3 months. And yeah, I definitely saw the progress in like, in climbing and, going up climbs and how I was able to tackle them, the downhills. Like, I mean, you do think of the climbs, but then you forget about the downhills. Actually,
that's what freaks me out more than anything else.
It was kind of a preparation for the World Championships. And then I went to World Championships in Australia, being the first Emirati to go there, which was very exciting as well. To represent my country for the first time in the peloton of the whole world. It was a big struggle because it was just constant
up and down,
rollings.
Up and down, in the beginning, and I did suffer and get dropped, but it was definitely a great experience. And the neutralized start, which is like when the motor is just leading the way, with neutralized speed, was 6K downhill, and I definitely saw that I had a weakness in like being able to be confident in a peloton going downhill. So definitely a different experience than training and going downhill on yourself. But definitely the summer did help in that aspect, but definitely I need more of the racing with the peloton going downhill.
I love downhill.
It is amazing. It makes you love the sport.
I think too, like,
even more.
I'm a lot heavier than most, women most, female cyclists.
Racers, at least,
because I'm tall and, I'm just heavier. But so,
then you go faster downhill.
I do. Some of my races, there'll be a cyclist, that maybe is more like you, and I see the comms, and she gets the comms going up, and I'm like, downhill, I got this.
Like, I don't think I would ever do a race in like Jabal Jess, right? I've only started getting a little more confident coming downhill, but if anyone sees me from the other side, they will see that I'm scrubbing off speed the entire time I'm heading down,
really,
right?
it's
just so
practice
fearful.
And I mean, more than the practice itself, it takes confidence.
It takes confidence. I think that's the main thing.
Like,
true.
We spent a couple of weeks of the winter in Spain, and we had even as pros, we had actual workshops to ensure that we knew the techniques and handling and
like
confidence.
We
even got to do like this very basic training of just like going quite like at 30 to 40 kilometers per hour, and then the mentor that was coaching us would be standing there, and we'd have to brake fully at that point to show us that the brakes work. They work really well. And you can stop right there in the same second. So there's nothing to be worried about when you're going down the hills. Because if you do come to a slight, feeling of like you're going off, you have those brakes to keep you safe, And it was a really good step in that workshop, because like you actually get to
like
trust
a switch,
the bike.
right? Yeah,
you trust
exactly.
the bike, and when you trust the bike, you're able to do much more with it. So it was a really good
feel the flow of
workshop.
The bike.
Be one with the bike.
Be one with the bike.
And there's like really little details about the handling that like really, I think, well, for me, gave me more confidence. I definitely saw myself going down the hills with my other teammates who were, used to the climbs and downhills, and it was really, impressful for me to see myself going down with them.
And it's just going to get better.
It is.
And as much as like you're happy going up a climb, I was happy to be going down a hill with like, the top riders around the world.
Do you so far then have a favorite race?
On the European season, I mean, there are good races to like, I've been watching races throughout my years in cycling, so there's races to look forward to, but I've never actually participated in any of them, so I can't really say, you know, which one I would like. But there's definitely really exciting races. Last year there was the first Tour de France for women after such a long time, and like the first official one for women. So it was really nice. I went there as a host for our sponsors to accompany them on the other side of the team actually racing there. But yeah, it's definitely a great experience. Somewhere I'd like to see myself in the future representing the UAE as the first, you know, hopefully Arab, but Emirati. And I hope to see myself actually reach there one day, you know.
And from the races that you have done, do you have a favorite? And why, really?
Well, yearly, I've been racing with the national team in the Asians, Asian Championships, done the National Championships. We have quite big local races actually here that some pro riders come from the outside to do, which is the Al Salam Championship. And it's a big, you know, race patroned by or sponsored by Sheikh Mohammed, which is the ruler of Dubai. So it's always a big race of the year. It keeps getting longer, so it keeps getting harder. Higher levels are coming in for the race. So it's one of the races that, you know, I have on my calendar as a good preparation for my later on races in Europe and going to Europe. But like I said, you know, I'm still studying, so it's been quite a challenge actually being able to go outside and race other than in the summer. I look forward as I'm graduating hopefully next April 24. So hopefully be able to spare time for cycling and go all around the world more than I've already done, which is really exciting.
That's my dream. Just kind of travel the world with my bike.
Yes, definitely. Like, I don't see myself going to the airport without my bike anymore.
Yeah. It's always like
it's the luggage that you need.
Sometimes, like, as a funny thought, I'm like, if I get married and I have to go on my honeymoon, how do I take my bike?
Well, you take your bike.
Well, hopefully it's a cyclist.
I mean, sorry, I have to ride on the side as well.
100%. I want to talk a bit about your mindset, because I think you're wise beyond your years. It's hard to believe. I think, you know, you're 21. And there was a quote on the UAE Team ADQ website, which I thought was really poignant. I'm going to read it out, and then, you know, maybe you can tell us how you know, came to develop this mindset.
Sure.
So the quote is, as quoted by you, setbacks can be seen as massive roadblocks to our progress when we're feeling our lowest, but what might seem impossible is definitely manageable if we change our perspective and view these challenges as opportunities for growth. How did you develop this mindset, you know, at this age?
I mean, my first year as a pro, which was last year, definitely did show me and demonstrate, I mean, that type of quote for me. I was struggling quite a lot mentally before I joined the team, and even after I joined it, not because of the team, not because of the expectations. I was just in a kind of a dark hole mentally as Safiya. Was going through a hard time, and, you know, my father was always like, just push through it, you know, you're going to see the better days. And I always kind of had that, like, mental state even before. But, you know, when you're in a dark spot, you can't really think wisely. So it was nice to see, you know, after the challenges we had in him, like, throughout the years of him trying to stop me because of, like, his worries or his other concerns, to actually see him holding on to me into the sport, you know. He's like, we had a training camp again in Spain last year in January to prepare for the season. And he was like, just go, you're going to have fun. You're going to see why you need to go on. It was hard because I'd come back from COVID as well. That was one thing that actually threw me into that whole.
But he probably saw how therapeutic it had become for you.
Yeah. He was like, Safiya, you love the sport. What are you saying? You know. He said, just hang on there. And I just, even with training, it was hard. Like, I'd gone so low that it was hard to see where I could go back to being, or onto even the same level that I was. So, you know, as it seems, you know, it's quite scary to see yourself going so low, how to expect what's coming. But I always believe that, you know, even in our religion in Islam, like, whatever hardships, ease is going to come after it. So you should always just believe that, you know, you just tell yourself, like, I just have to push through this. And, you know, the
it's only
uphill
up
is
from
coming.
here.
Yeah. It's coming. Like there's light, and
Yeah.
it's one of the motifs of the team as well. To keep your head raised up, and like the colors of our jerseys, like that. To look up to the sky. And to the beautiful things that you have around you.
Yeah.
I just have a follow-up question to that as well, because when I saw you at Leaders in Sport, you talk about the importance of competition, and I think competition can derail a lot of people. They're like, oh, I'm not the best. These people are so much better than me. How does competition fuel your, growth and desire to get better?
Well, it shows you where you're standing at, even if you're the lowest out there, it should, if you have the right mindset and mental state, show you that, like, okay, this is as much difference as there is, and it should be a motive for me to actually reach that next level, rather than say, oh, I can't do this. If you keep trying, there will be a day which you'll reach and get. My career has shown me that, just have to keep doing it. You just have to keep waking up every day and just doing it, even if you don't like it on some days.
Do you remember the turning point that happened after this low moment of yours when you realized, things are bad now, but then, they're going to be up? Was there like that one moment or like that light bulb moment that you said?
Yeah, I think I can highlight it with saying when I won I stood on the podium, the very first podium for the UAE on the Asian level last year for the individual time trial. I didn't even know I won because, it's like by time, the individual time trial. And then we got back I was looking for my coach. I couldn't find them because they were following me with the car throughout the race. But then I couldn't find them after the race. I was like, wait. Then I went to look for them. And he's like, wait. I was like, don't tell me there's a result on the Asian level. The Asian level has been a dream for us, as we elevate the sport here in the UAE. Our national champion, Yusuf Mirza, has reached the podium of the Asian Championships. He's got like 8 medals, I think, or even more in the Asian level. But even, back in the time, nobody had achieved that, and he started achieving it. So I always saw him as, a motive that, okay, I can reach also what he's reaching, and, the boundaries he's breaking, even for the male sector here in the UAE and in cycling, and showing them that it is possible. So I started to follow that, I wanna achieve at least as much as he's achieved, and even go ahead with even more. So that Asian medal definitely did motivate me quite a lot. It came in April last year, so around this time. I was happy to see that it's already been a year after that achievement. But it definitely was a motivating achievement. If I was that low and I could actually reach the Asian podium, so I think I can do much more, progressing to an even higher level, and to try and compete. And like this year, Asian Championships are a qualifier for the Olympics. So really want to try my best, to do as much as I can. It will be a tough one because everybody comes to qualify, but it definitely pushes me to prepare even better than I did last year, and try and aim for a podium again.
And when is that happening?
It will be happening in Thailand in June.
June, coming up.
It's quite a hot, actually, period and humid period in Thailand. So I don't know what to expect, but hopefully it'll be good after I prepare for a while.
Yeah, if you're training here outside,
I think you're better off than a lot of athletes around the world.
It's surprising to say that even Italy was really warm last year. After
all of Europe was warm.
Europe.
It's funny. I did a marathon last year in Lebanon, and I think the temperature was like, I want to say like around 24, and everyone on the course was like, it's so hot, and I'm just like, wow. This is amazing weather. This is so nice. So it didn't impact us at all because the race was in November, and we were training through the summer. So we just had an advantage over lots of the other athletes who had showed up. So you're definitely got that one tiny advantage.
The climate does give you advantage sometimes. Exactly. It's nice to say.
And I have to say, Europe was hot last year.
It really was.
Yeah, I had a failed attempt to go on that.
I was even in, the UK is quite, they don't have much air conditioning.
Yeah,
around,
exactly.
That's the problem,
especially
isn't it?
in houses, like they don't have it that much.
You want to go back to an AC and there's none.
In the malls, like we were escaping with my family to the malls to actually find AC.
Yeah.
Because like in my grandmother's house, they don't have the AC yet. And I think it's something they should invest in soon because it just keeps getting warmer for them. But I was on the flight going back to Italy on the hottest day where like the tar was melting and schools were off because like it was too bad for children to actually. It was a big heat wave, and it was surprising to see the UK at like 38, I think it was. I've been to the UK when it was 30, and that used to be really hot because they have like different, sun direction, and they don't have the humidity we have here. That it is gross, the humidity, but it cools us down at least.
Yeah.
Over there, it's just direct, like really hot sun.
Well, let's hope it's back to, what the normal European summers we're used to.
I hope. I really want to spend a cool summer there, not a hot one.
Just to go back to Yusuf, so he's the captain of the UAE national team, the men's team. We spoke a little bit before as well because he was the first Emirati man to be on
and
a
your
pro
mentor.
team. Yeah,
and
you said he was mentoring you. So what did that mean to you, that mentorship?
I mean, a big honor, when the best rider in the UAE is actually helping you pave the way and pushing you for more. Up to this day, I train with him. He pushes me for more. He pushes me to believe in myself more. The other day, he said he told me quite a nice thing. He says, "I see myself in you with how you're opening the doors for the people here in the UAE, and I really want to push you to reach even higher and help you along the way." So it's a big honor and pleasure, to have that support of such a big rider, a rider with lots of experience. He also had his challenges growing up and being in the sport for more than 15 years, like maybe 20 or even more. He started at like the age of 9. So it's great to be able to have a source of inspiration and all that experience, at my hand. And definitely I look up to him big time and follow his ways.
We were speaking earlier about this as well, and during our conversation about your time trials. And I mentioned that I've done one with a group, and I was like, totally, because it's a time trial, it's very short, and you have to like be in like zone 5, zone 6 the entire time. Like it's full out and you're gassed at the end, right?
Yeah.
But you have won 3. You've won 3 golds in the UAE National Time Trial Championships. So is this your favorite cycling format to compete in?
I'd say, I do like road races because then you're with a whole peloton and you can race against people.
Yeah.
But as much as I say, when preparing for a time trial, I always get really excited, for the time trial. But then when I race, I'm like, why do I like this?
Why am I here?
Why do I even like this? I don't like this. How do I get hyped up for it? I don't know. But I have been lucky enough to win also the Arab title in the time trial, and also the bronze medal in the Asian Championships. So it's showing me that I actually maybe do have potential in that form of road racing. I have been focusing on it after seeing that I have kind of potential in it, and we'll get to see hopefully in the future if I really do, racing on higher and higher levels. You get to see where you actually are as a road cyclist. There's so many, there's sprinters, there's climbers, there's all-rounders, which can do a bit of everything. There's time trialists, there's other mountain biking and other stuff,
ultras.
Which I haven't, there's ultras, which I haven't tried yet. So there's so much to even try out. But I do think I like time trials as much as I can like them. And I get excited to prepare for them. So it's something I'm focusing on to try and achieve a bit more.
Okay, so that would be your goal for this year, to get better at time trials?
Better at,
or just
try
overall?
to get better overall, because there's not many time trials a season. There's a selected number of time trials, so it's quite rare opportunities limited opportunities to actually show my potential in that way. But I definitely do try to participate as much. I won a TT race last weekend in Ajman. Ajman have come up with a really nice Ramadan sports tournament as well.
Yeah.
And we did a 6K all out. And 6K is like really short for a time trial. So like you have to like, and I hit all my personal records all time. I'm like, yes, I'm getting there.
Like, what is this zone? Is it like zone 10 again? Like, you know, because it's a 6K, like you have to go all out.
Really, really all out. And like my coach even gave me numbers to work on because I work on power. And she was like, okay, push this much power for the 6K. And I was like, no, I can do more than this. And I actually proved to her that I could do more. So it was
that's amazing.
Yeah, it was nice to see.
I guess it's like your own
break the power meter.
But also you're your own competition, right?
In these races. Trials. And that sometimes it's even tougher because like you have your inner voice and that's it. I mean, sometimes you see riders ahead of you or coming up to you from behind, which is quite, mentally destroying when you see somebody's actually catching up to you from behind. Yeah. But then when you're catching somebody, it's like, poor for them, but like, you're like, I'm getting there. I'm passing another opponent. So it's always motivating to see, people ahead. But yeah, the inner voice is, you have to fight it. So yeah. Sometimes it's even harder than when you work with other people.
So you're at university at the moment studying graphic designing.
Yes.
Graphic design. What's your training look like and how do you manage,
It is a challenge. Yeah. It is a challenge, training weekly is around, at lowest, like when there's like races and I have to train a bit easier, it's like 13 hours. And then take into consideration being in Dubai, you have to transport with the car to the training location most of the days. So that's an extra like at least an hour and a half in the car around, because in Dubai is so busy as well. Sometimes I go from university, it takes like 45 minutes from just Marina to like Nada Shiba, which should take like no longer than 20, and then it's like 45 minutes and you're just sitting in the car already. You're tired from the day. Then I have to go training. Already I'm tired from the car as well, and being furious of like how drivers drive on the road. So it's a challenge sometimes, but lowest 13 hours to I did my very first like longest week of training here in the UAE from ever since I started training or cycling a month ago, and it was 21 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was great. Like I had spring break, so I had that week to myself. I could train as much as I wanted. I even got to go to Fujairah to go on some climbs.
So do you break them up, or is it like in one go,
so
like the number
daily,
of hours that you put in?
Well, that spring break I had 11 days. So in those 11 days, I was able to complete like 31 hours. And it was like an average of like 2.5 hours to 3 a day.
Okay.
Easy rides go to 1.5 hours.
Yeah.
And then you have longer rides, whether it's rides with intensity. So there'll be like medium volume, like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, because you have more intensity in them, or longer endurance rides. I think I had my longest ride on those days were like 4 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. Sometimes you have like a coffee stop, but you mostly continue on as much as you can.
And in Ramadan, how does that change for you in Ramadan as well?
Yeah, we do shorter sessions, maybe with a bit more intensity to keep the volume up. And I train after, Tarawih prayers. So around 9 p.m. If I have an easy ride, I could do it before I break my fast because, it's not too hard and not too draining. But most days we train at 9 p.m. up until maybe midnight. It's always exciting, honestly. I really like training in Ramadan. Everybody's on the track at the same time, so you get to see people. You get to see friends you haven't seen for a while. You get to go out on rides at the same time because people are busy like on normal days, people are busy with different schedules. Even I don't have a set schedule for when I'm training on each day because like things fluctuate so much, the hours of studying, doing assignments a bit longer at university. So I always don't plan out rides with friends unless like they'll message me like when I'm riding. I'm like, you can come and ride with me. But it is hard to manage in between all the struggles of life. But I'm getting closer to my graduation, so it only gives me more motive that I have more time to cycle in the future.
So speaking of your graduation and once you finish, like what are your goals for the next, if you look ahead 10 years and then want to look back, like what would you have accomplished? You spoke about the Olympics qualifiers.
Yeah, definitely a big goal. Also like I said, to reach the European level is a big goal of mine. If I talk about what I've done in university, combined with cycling, as I've done design, and the world of cycling only is getting more mesmerizing with all the designs and colors and all the things out there. I think I do have a goal of combining designing and cycling in the industry of cycling, and maybe creating my own clothing line of cycling, or working with a company that is interested in adding my type of major, graphic design, which is quite vivid in the world at the moment. If they're interested in working with me as a cyclist, as I already have the background of being a cyclist, experience now as a pro, going out there, like traveling all around the world. If people are interested in, taking both my interests of designing, I would be happy actually to help out and, go somewhere with designing in the cycling industry.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunities open.
Yeah, I already have gotten like a couple of people asking me of collaborating, and I did actually design 2 kits for people, and some other opportunities for cycling cafes as well, with graphics. It's nice, been good so far. People do have interest in it as they see. Like I said, I'm a cyclist and already have the background. So I'm looking forward to see what design.
We'll get you to design our Mettleset kit.
Yeah.
Maybe. That would be exciting. I already see you have really nice graphics.
Thank you.
Yeah. Nice.
So you've come a long way since you joined the team. How would you assess the last 2 years of, training and competing with them? And, if there were milestones that you had to pick in the last 2 years, what would you say they would be in terms of your growth?
Well, definitely big progress, more detailed work, and, a progressive plan to reach where me and the team, aspire to reach. So it's nice to see that, there's trust in me. I trust in my coaches. We're going well on the way that we've paved out so far. Things may come in the way, but, when you have a plan, you have a goal, it shortens what you have to do around it, and you're heading to the goal. There'll be distractions, but at least you see that way. You want to get there, so it's shortening everything up. It's showing progress, maybe 50% more progress of what I actually was before being a pro cyclist. Even getting to know more experience and more of how races go in Europe is a big gain. I'm very blessed and happy and pleasure to have this opportunity of representing the UAE in the pro peloton. And I hope I can, be the best version I can of Safiya to actually reach there and show that the UAE can reach wherever it aspires to reach.
So on the immediate cards is the Asian Road Cycling Championships. Okay. What else is coming up?
So I've got road and track cycling coming up in the summer for Asian Championships. We also have the Asian Games, which have been postponed for so long because of COVID. It keeps getting postponed year by year. It was supposed to be last year as well, and got postponed again, which is in China. So I'm looking forward to even going to a destination I've never been. We've got World Championships coming up in Glasgow, which is somewhere also I've never been, Scotland. So it's nice to be going to new places. We've got the training camp in summer for the whole summer in Italy, which always is a good experience because, you get to be independent. Here I live with my parents and being there, and I was there for 3 months alone in an apartment last year, and it's a good experience to be dependent. I like being or dependent on yourself. I like being independent, and I've always been that kind of a character that likes to depend on myself. If there's something I have to do, I always like to depend on myself more than depend on people. So it is nice to actually live alone for a while and depend on yourself. Sometimes it can get quite lonely, but if you've got friends around, but you're still living alone, it's a nice experience.
And Italy is also pretty nice.
I'm looking forward. Last year I was in Verona, and this year I get to go to a new area. So it's nice to be looking around. Like sometimes you go to a country and you're like, okay, well, I don't really like that country, but you've only been to like one
part of it.
Part of it. So I'm looking forward to see other parts of Italy. I got to see, I think, 3 parts last year. Or 4, so a new one. Yeah, I actually went to Livigno, which is quite similar to the concept of Dolomites. You know, it's really cold. It's up in the mountains, quite high, like at least 1,800 meters of elevation. So you're like in the clouds. And it was really, really enjoyable. I really would like to go there this year, but we'll see what we have on the list. But we have also. I've been also to one part of Saudi, as close to as it is, or like two parts, and we have Arab Championships there as well in September. So I'm looking forward to going.
Where is that being held?
It's in Abha in Saudi.
Okay, cool.
Abha is really cool, like cool in weather and climate, and has quite a bit of mountains. So it's going to be a different type of a new edition of
I'm excited
Arab cycling championships
to see that in particular, because also, I think there's a lot of opportunities in Saudi for cycling for all of us. Like when it's so hot here, we can go to Abha.
Definitely. And then we have also Arab track championships in Cairo. Right. And one more thing I have with one more participation I have with the national team, aside to all the races I'm going to be racing hopefully with ADQ this summer, which I'm looking forward to knowing more about, and knowing where I'm going to go with the team this summer. But I also have the Arab Games, which hasn't been on for a long while, and it's going to be in Algeria, and I haven't been to Algeria as well. So lots of nice destinations. Last year I got to go to 10 different countries, so I'm looking forward to see how many I can count up to this year.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it really is
exciting.
Like I'd never, like the introvert Safiya back in her room in like before 2016 would never think I'd be going on like 10 different flights a year to different countries.
Well, it's just going to keep getting better.
I hope so. Look forward to the future.
Safiya, you have shown us that you have no dearth of grit when you have to push the limits and the power meter. But tell us, do you think this comes from within you, or it's something that you've learned along the way?
I think it's a mix of both. People do say that I'm a mental fighter. So it really helps when, cycling is an endurance sport. Like you said, you always have to be pushing your limits. Well, all sports, but, some other sports you have like more skillful sports, but like endurance sports really are a big struggle, I can say, because you have to fight that brain of yours to go deeper and deeper, and you're always stronger than you think you are. If you have that mental state of like, okay, I can push more, your body actually is capable of doing it. The limitation that we put for ourselves are not the limitations our body has. You can always go deeper and stronger, and I really like that quote of like, you're always stronger than you think you are. Even when you think you're on the edge, you can even go even more. Definitely cycling is a hard sport. I think as I progressed over the years, I was able to see that even if I am a bit weaker than others and I'm competing against or less stronger, in level, I can always kind of turn that mental side advantage that I have of pushing to my limit to my advantage, and being able to keep up with even stronger riders with just going into the suffer mood. My coach even told me
Safiya mode
maybe after the training camp that she was impressed with how much I could suffer in my suffer zone. So I guess that shows that I'm capable of being in the cycling field. It's a good advantage.
If you like suffering, I know a type of sport, a type of cycling.
And might with the ultra. And like we said, both sides. So also like learning over the years how to struggle more and more, because like you actually learn how to suffer with the sport, and you learn how to shut that brain up. Just shut up, legs, go on.